Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Super excited you guys are here, and if you're new, welcome. Welcome to the family, welcome to our community. On this channel, I like to talk a lot about positive parenting tips. So whether that's emotional management for parents, connection, communication strategies, including communication strategies to ourselves, and also a lot about dealing with grief and loss as a parent. So for those of you who don't know me, I am a parent coach specializing in grief and loss. I'm gonna leave my website link down below just so you can learn a little bit more about me, what do I do. And I'm also gonna leave the link to the free consult for those of you who are subscribed and know more about that. And as you've seen by the title of today's video, we're gonna be talking about selective mutism, the top 3 things that you can do as a parent to a child with selective mutism. And a little bit of background, selective mutism is a social anxiety disorder, and it's typically seen in children, but I know a lot of people who have reached out to me as teenagers and even in their early adult years who still have selective mutism. But I just want to note that this video can also apply if your child is just shy. Like, these are concepts, simple concepts that you can do to help with that as well. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. So the overarching theme of these tips is going to be about confidence. And I think for me personally, the biggest thing that helped me go through this anxiety disorder was gaining my confidence. And now that I, can look back on it and I see where I am now, it is about confidence. The more confident I get in myself, the less self-critical I become. And that's really what stops you from speaking, even in, any kind of social situation. It's really because you're doubting yourself. You're being overly critical of the words that are coming out of your mouth. You're thinking about all these things that could happen if you say the wrong thing, or maybe you don't sound right, or maybe, you're criticizing your voice or, what you're wearing, and it's everything, and it just stops you from having conversation. And sometimes it even still happens to me now, and I realize it's because I'm just so in my head. And when you're able to develop that confidence, you realize that no matter what, as long as you have that confidence and that conviction in yourself, it doesn't really matter what you say. It doesn't really matter what you look like. So how do we develop confidence? How do we help our kids develop confidence in themselves? Number one thing, which I always talk about on this channel, is the way that you do it yourself. So whatever skill that you'd like your child to develop, you have to implement that yourself. So modeling confidence yourself is probably the biggest thing that you can do to help them. Even on the days when you're not feeling so confident, just own it, embrace it. And that doesn't mean that you have to be this perfect person, because perfection doesn't exist. And if you try to be perfect without acknowledging your imperfections and acknowledging your emotions, like stress, if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling anxious about something, acknowledge it, own up to it, but don't focus on it. Because the more you focus on it, the more you create. So if you're focusing on those positive things, the things that you are doing right, you'll be able to have that confidence. And you'll see more of those positive things happen. Now, the second thing is, don't get so upset about the little mistakes that you make. And it goes hand in hand with the last tip. The more you focus on those negative things and all the things that you're doing wrong, the more that you're going to see. So if you're focusing on the little things that you're doing right, the small things, you'll see more of those happen. And it also goes to show that developing a growth mindset really makes a difference. So having the ability to look at mistakes as a learning opportunity instead of looking at mistakes as failure. The more you look at those mistakes as growth, the more willing you are to make those mistakes. And the only way you can grow is making those mistakes, being uncomfortable in these situations. And that's exactly what I learned as I went through this anxiety disorder. I needed to be uncomfortable. I needed to put myself in uncomfortable situations. It's the only way you can grow. As a parent, you can't really tell your child, you have to make this mistake in order to grow. So giving them the opportunity to try new things, to see what they like to do, to see what they don't like to do. Developing that skill of being more intuitive and being more open and willing to embrace new experiences. So the more you allow them to adapt that skill of embracing new things, the more they're willing to make those mistakes and the more they're willing to go a little bit more out their comfort zone, even if it's day by day or little by little. So the last tip I have is something that I learned fairly recently, and it really helped me hone in on putting myself in those uncomfortable situations and being a little bit more social. So this tip is also something that develops the confidence as well. And that's having a passion or hobby or something that you love to do. So I notice with shy kids in general, so they have this innate quality where they only like to talk or, open up to you when they're talking about something they really, really love or they really enjoy doing. So having a passion or a hobby that they can, get really, really good at and develop their skills on it gives them something to talk about. It gives them something to share with the world. So even if it's that they're only talking about that thing, they're still talking about it. And the more comfortable they get speaking about it, the more comfortable they get speaking in general, the more comfortable they get opening up to new people and new situations. So having something to focus on really helps putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations. So in addition to developing that skill or finding something you're really passionate about, it's also important to create goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself and help your kids set goals. And it's really important that you have both small goals and large goals. A large goal is something that you can really look forward to and kind of motivate you to reach a certain destination. It'll be your why. And small goals so that you know that you're on the right path. If you hit those small goals that are really realistic, whether that's weekly, daily, or monthly goals, you'll have something that can motivate you to keep going. If you achieve that goal, you get excited. You get a little adrenaline kick. And it makes you want to go to the next goal, and the next goal, and the next goal, until finally you reach your destination. It's something that my parents never did, and I really wish they had, because having goals and achieving those goals is a really, really motivating factor, and it really helps you start striving for something, whether that's that skill that you love to do, or whether that's gaining that confidence, or putting yourself in those uncomfortable situations. All of those really can apply to setting goals. So just to recap, those top 3 things that we focused on in today's video was modeling confidence yourself as a parent, being able to focus on the small positive things that you're doing rather than those mistakes, and allowing yourself to adopt a growth mindset and helping your kids achieve the same. And the last thing was helping your child find a passion or a hobby that they love to do that they can share with the world. So I hope you guys found this useful, and I hope some of these tips will really help you out if you have a child with selective mutism or if you have a child that is just shy. Either way, these principles will still apply. And if you guys are not already in my Facebook community, I'm going to leave that link down below. And I'm also going to leave the link to the free consult. And I'm also going to leave my website link below so that you guys can look at more information on that, what I do, what kind of resources I offer as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks so much for watching.